Alright, we were just hanging out here for a second, waiting for everything to get going. And here we go. Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Ross Cessna from Spiritual Phoenix Studios, bringing you some practical spiritual guidance. And the way I do tarot is a little bit different. If you've never had a reading with me before, honestly, my approach is kind of along the lines of using it as guidance. I believe that tarot cards are a tool of great personal transformation if used appropriately. And really, you just need to have somebody who knows what they're doing guide you through the process, and you can get some drastic changes. What's up, Crystal? How you doing? And what's up, Jody? How are you? And Jakari, what's up? Okay, so I'm going to draw some cards for people. Jody, you got 5 of Cups. Or Judy, you got 5 of Cups. Five of Cups is about contemplation or loss, regret, and bereavement. So you're feeling a little bit stuck. You got to shake off some of that energy so you can move forward. Crystal, would you like a card? And then Jakari, you got 3 of Pentacles in reverse. 3 of Pentacles in reverse is really about mediocrity and displacement. You're settling for less than what you deserve. Step it up. Like, you have to push forward to make things work. Worried or concerned about work. Sorry to hear that, Judy. Hang in there. Things will get better is the general thing. You might have to make a change. A change can be uncomfortable. Hey Jody, how are you doing? Okay, Crystal, you got the Tower card in reverse, and the Tower card in reverse typically is about oppression. And the way that I would take that is you're probably staying in a situation long past its expiration date, and you might need to make some changes. If the Tower card came up in upright, I would say it's really about getting this moment of clarity and making a better choice. Like I like to call it the rock bottom card. In this situation, though, you're kind of staying long after you should leave or make changes. John Doyle, I got you, bro. Give you a card. And Jody, if you want a card, let me know. And then we have the Ace of Bows for John. Ace of Bows is Ace of Swords in traditional tarot. It's in reverse. This is about disruption, entropy, and chaos. So there's a little bit of disorder going on here. The way that I like to navigate people through this card in this particular deck is kind of think of point your mind at the trouble and actually face the trouble head on so you can navigate it a little bit more gracefully than if you're just letting it blow over you passively. What's up, Annabelle? How you doing? Yeah, I'll get you a card. I gotta check on this other chat stream real quick. Let me see what's up with them. Hey, Leila, how you doing? And we got Akansha. Okay, so Annabelle, for you, you have the Ace of Drums in reverse. Ace of Drums in reverse is Ace of Pentacles. It's the disillusionment and financial letdown. Lose your illusion to kind of see the situation more clearly, and you can make better choices going forward. You'll be a lot happier. And then we're going to jump over here to Akansha. You got the World card. There's a situation that's going to be coming to an end and transitioning into something greater and grander for you. Just really open up. Just really open up to it, and like process it and move forward with it. And Judy, I pulled a card for you. I can do another one, but there's a lot of people ahead of you, so you're gonna have to wait. If you want to get bumped to the head of the line, you can donate if potential. And Crane-wise, yep, it is a group reading, so get in line and ask for a card, and I will get you. And Leila, I'm going to give you a card. You got 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is really about wealth and establishment. So this is about valuing yourself and also establishing yourself and helping move yourself forward in this change and transformation. 10 are about completion too. So it's the completion of one end of your journey and the beginning of another. Let me jump back over here. And then we got Jody wants a card. Jody, you have the Hanged Man card in reverse. Oh, my camera just got all blurry. Hangman card in reverse, though, is really saying you're self-sacrificing a little bit too much, and you're probably giving too much of your energy away to other people. You need to pull back and reserve some more for you. Just from the bit that we've talked, I can tell that you do a lot for other people. Sometimes you might need to invest a lot more of that energy into yourself. You're welcome, Annabelle. Let's see. Crane, yeah, you're good. Hang in there. You're next. You got 9 of bows in reverse. 9 of bows is 9 of swords in traditional tarot. 9 of swords in reverse is about recuperation and healing, really. 9 of swords is a really intense card. It's kind of the insomnia card, right? But when it's in reverse, this is saying that you're processing some of that thought and that difficulty, and you're allowing it to permeate you so you can move forward. So if you've been worrying about stuff, honestly, just do some grounding and you'll transition to a better spot. So hang in there. Okay. And then we are back over here. I guess since we're just kind of slow rolling, we're going to go back to Judy and see what's up with Judy real quick. Nobody else is in line. If you want a card, you got to get up in there. And Judy, you've been at your job 1 year. Should you let the job go, or are they letting you go? So you got the Hermit card. And honestly, the Hermit card, it's not an easy answer because it's saying you have to look at the situation yourself and see if it's really the right situation for you. If you're staying past the expiration date, which I believe is what came up for you, you might want to reevaluate it overall. And Shannon D. Lemons, can you get a card? Yeah, you can. I got you. You got the Sun card in reverse. This is about disorientation, so it's saying things might be a little bit chaotic. Sun card in reverse is always still positive, though, and it's saying even though things might be a little bit messy, overall things will turn out okay. Just keep your head up and keep pushing on. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Jody. Thank you. And if anybody wants a longer reading, you can donate, or you can find me on my Etsy, or you can just use my booking link in my profile, right? There's all sorts of great ways you can get longer readings. So for all my party people in the Jody and friends, or Jada and friends, how's everybody doing? Anybody still there? We still thriving and alive, or no? Mom, you want a card? All right. I like how my mom puts it. Me, Karen? Ah, you silly mom. Let's see what comes up. You have Ace of Cups in reverse. Ace of Cups in reverse is honestly telling me that you're not looking at some of your emotions or processing something, right? So on one aspect, it's about superficiality, and on the other aspect, it's about rejection. So I feel like you have to process how you're feeling about something and navigate through it, right? And it might even be where you have to sit with that and chew on it for a while. Judy, I've given you like 2 cards, so I can't give you a whole reading for free. I appreciate the support, but I just can't do that. Okay, so back to the Jada and friends. Switching over to the Oracle cards. Anybody out there? Just nod if you can hear me. Pink Floyd, sorry. Kind of a slow day at the office, right? Let me switch to... which one's a better one? That one? There we go. Hi, Neha. What's up, Neha? You want a card? Oh no, that went black. What happened with that? Hold on one second. I gotta fix this. Yep, I will get everybody a card. I have to fix one thing on the fly because apparently the camera pooped out. Let me see. Video capture. Okay. Sorry about this. Technical difficulties, right? Okay, there we go. So, Vicky Sharp, yeah. Vicky. Vicky, you got 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords is actually one of the more difficult cards, right? It is about defeat, loss, and crisis. But the beauty of this card is if you actually accept the defeat and the loss, it puts you in this kind of butterfly state where you can transition and get a better outcome. But the whole key to this is accepting that you're having these issues and then moving forward. Niha, how to fight with your lover. Let me see. Should you break it off? Let me see. Shall you consider it a breakup? Shall you consider it a breakup? No, the cards say. Overall, it says eventually they'll kind of sort things out. I don't say that very easily because typically the result that I tell people is just move on. But that's what came up. Wendy says, you're just watching. You received your amazing reading. Oh, thanks so much. Grateful that you got it. And let me switch back to Jada and Friends, see who's over there. Anybody in Jada and Friends want a card? Robin, yeah, I got you. Robin, you got 8 of Cups in reverse. 8 of Cups in reverse is kind of about being aimless and maybe liking too many things and not focusing enough on the right things. So this, to me, would say, especially in love, get a little bit more clear on what you actually want in a partner and what you bring to a partner, so that way you can make sure you're attracting the right partner. Hope that makes sense. Ritu, I don't really do location stuff, right, with cards. That's not really my reading style. I'll see what comes up and see what I can give you, though. You have Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords in reverse. So it's about warpath, aggression, her hostility. So maybe it's in a place where there was some kind of confrontation or difficult emotions that you processed, and you might want to check there. That's as good as I can give you because that's not really my style, right? Oh no, your landlord came. Samantha, I'm good. Yeah, you can have a card. So, Samantha, you got the Hermit card in reverse. Hermit card in reverse is about, I hate to say this, ignorance and petulance, right? Petulance is being a bit immature about something, and ignorance is not having enough information to make an informed decision. So there's some area in your life where you're probably having a difficult experience, but overall, you're not looking at your part in it, right? And you have to take a little bit more ownership of your part in the problem in order to move forward through it, or like to heal the situation, right? Sometimes admitting that we are the actual issue makes things a lot easier. And just to throw it out there, donations are greatly appreciated. The donation links are listed in the description. It will get you a longer reading. And also, if you are interested in a regular reading, I offer them on Etsy. I also have longer private readings that I offer. And I have a month-long coaching package, which kind of helps you process everything, helps you move through the difficult aspects of your life, and get a better experience overall. Okay, I got some people asking for readings in the Jada and Friends. Oh, thank you, Rosa. Rosa, let me see. We'll get you a couple readings, a couple cards, I mean. So you actually got a lot of major arcana. And you have the Lover's card. So Lover's card typically is about vice or virtue. I don't view it as relationships like most people do. I view this as a more personal development tool, right? And when it's in reverse, it's kind of in the vice position. So this is saying that there might be some area where you're staying stuck and you need to have some self-reflection and look at it a little bit differently. And then when you transition to the Star card in reverse, it's about pessimism, right? And the pessimism is thinking that maybe you have to stay stuck or maybe you have to settle for those things. But the truth of it all is you can have hope. And that's why I like the Star card, right? It's this light in the darkness that guides you through the next phase of your life and gets you a better experience overall. But the difficult thing is that you have to be willing to move forward. Like, you have to be willing to try something different. Oh, thank you so much, Leila. That's awesome to get that plug that you're very happy with the process. I really enjoy working with you. You've been so much fun to kind of guide through the process and see you grow. And after I get this, I'm going to get on the next part of everything and send that to you tomorrow, hopefully, so we can begin that phase of it all. And let's see, can you get one on your love life? Arlen. Yeah, you can get one on your love life. Yala, you're like the ideal client, right? Because you're willing to do the stuff and you're willing to show up and do the footwork. I think some people want someone to wave a magical wand, and as much as I am into magic and all that stuff, it doesn't necessarily work like that in my experience. So for Arlen, you got Queen of Cups in reverse. Queen of Cups in reverse is about manipulation and jealousy. So to me, this would indicate that if you're in a relationship, you are kind of emotionally vulnerable, and that the people that you're with might be holding you hostage emotionally, right? The other way that I would take this card is that you tend to not view yourself well, and you kind of maybe unintentionally manipulate people to get along in relationships. And the healthier aspect of all of this, to kind of put it in a positive frame, right, is going to be learn to treat yourself better and learn to listen to your intuition and be more compassionate. Invest some of the energy you invest in other people to yourself in general. And then also, don't put your emotions over your personal strength, right? Make sure that you're able to walk through your emotions and still value yourself. A lot of us kind of are raised with this belief that if we feel emotions that we're less than or we don't deserve to be cared for, and it's not really true. All emotions are valid. They all have a purpose. They're like this guidance system. So that's the love life card. It's kind of a heavy one. And anybody else still kicking around, want a card, any of that good stuff. And you're very welcome, Rosa. Thanks for getting a reading. I appreciate it. Thanks for the donation. Every little bit helps. Is there anybody else that is wanting a card? Cassandra. Yeah. Love life for Cassandra. We got you. And everybody else, if you want a card, don't hesitate to ask. And again, I don't really like the fortune telling aspect of this. It can be incredibly helpful. I view this more as a tool for personal development, which is a lot less common than how most people will do it. Most people do it just as fortune telling woo-woo, which is, that's great, right? But I perceive it as a way to create your destiny. And I can help guide people to a different life and to their future if they're willing to do some of the suggestions that come up. Anyhow, Cassandra, you got Six of Pentacles in reverse. Six of Pentacles in reverse is kind of being ungracious or financial hardship. So one of the ways that I would take this and transition it, because that can be somewhat of a harsh definition, right, is you need to invest more in things that will bring you long-term satisfaction than investing in short-term titillation, right? So just make sure you're investing in something that's actually meaningful. A lot of times people are afraid to invest in things that can bring them more money because they view that as unsafe, but they actually invest their time and energy into situations that have no physical return whatsoever. Purna. Husband, will they call or text? Cards are saying no to that, Purna. Kind of says that he was disconnected and just not present. So let's see, anybody else in the Jada and Friends still there? Anybody want a card? No, yes? Yes, no? Anybody? Bueller? Oh, you're welcome, Cassandra. Yeah, anybody watching this, if you can leave a positive review on my Facebook page, appreciate it. Or if you're in the Jada and Friends group, if you could just leave a positive review on my profile. I'd appreciate it. Danielle, you got 6 of Bones. So 6 of Bones is 6 of Wands in traditional tarot. It's about self-confidence and progress. Honestly, it's about honoring yourself on a deeper level. And the yellow in the cards relative to navel chakra. Navel chakra is all about self-worth, self-esteem, all of that good stuff. Orange is about sacral chakra, creativity, sexual energy. And then the red is the root chakra. So it's really saying that all of those great things are rooted in self-confidence. So keep pushing forward with that. You're doing great. Okay. Sharda, yep, I got you. Gemma wants a card. Sharda, you got 9 of Bows, right? And 9 of Bows is 9 of Swords in traditional tarot. It's about depression, anxiety, and despair. One of the cool things about this card is when you're in kind of the depression, anxiety, and despair phase, you kind of think that maybe God, spirit, whatever is out there has forgotten about you, right? This card is saying that that divine connection to the force is kind of always there. You just have to tune into it. And when you begin to tune into it, look at your blessings, you actually get a lot more strength that way. So stay with it. Good things are on the way. Then we got Gemma and Wendy. Thank you for being so funny. I hope that it wasn't like difficult funny, because I try to add a little bit of levity to readings when I do it, right? But I also try to get the truest information out there. I'm not a big fan of the way some people read, and maybe it's my own arrogance speaking. It very well could be, but I think a lot of people are more on the woo-woo tip than on the actual meat and potatoes of what this is about. Gemma, you have the Magician card in reverse. The Magician card in reverse is actually about destruction, right? So the same power that we have to create and manifest great things in our life, if not channeled appropriately, it actually ends up being this destructive energy. So you have to begin to invest some of your energy in a new way to get better results. I mean, here's the thing, right? The woo-woo stuff is all great at the beginning level of this, but I really think that like spirituality and magic is all about personal development, and so many people want this like mythical lightning bolt to come and resolve all of their problems. And in my personal experience, like the resolution of my problems comes from a lot of hard work and getting like vulnerable and honest with myself and having other people help me spot check my own bullshit. And it's not the easiest process. It's incredibly worth it, but you have to be willing to show up. And like, as much as I believe in magic and spell work and all that stuff, it doesn't work the way I think most people want it to or try to make it work. And that's just my own perspective, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Hasn't been in my case, but... What do your spirit guides or family wish to share? All right, we'll use the oracle cards for that. Because like I can tell people all the woo-woo stuff that they want, right? But at the end of the day, if they're not willing to do the things to actually change their life, me telling them all this happy flowery crap is actually doing them a disservice. So Lee, you got the grief card, right? And the grief card, honestly, the way that I would take that if you're viewing it as a message from your spirit guides or family, it's saying process some of the pain that you've like felt, but you haven't actually allowed yourself to deal with. Because so often times when difficult things come up, we don't allow ourselves to fully grieve or work through the process, right? We think we have to get back to this. We should be further along. We should be doing all of these things. But in reality, you have to allow yourself to express your emotions exactly how they are and be present with them, like where you're at, right? So that's my suggestion to you. That's their message to you. Process your grief and allow yourself to be where you're at with it without judgment. And just to throw it out there to party people, if y'all could leave a tip, that would be greatly appreciated. The ability to donate is on PayPal, Cash App, all that good stuff. If you check the description in the video, there will be a link, and in that link it has all of my donation information. It also has the ability to schedule appointments or to book a reading with me on Etsy. So, Jumar, before I even draw a card with you, you can absolutely do what you want to. It's just a matter of putting in the work, but we'll see what comes up in the cards. So the Death card came up. The Death card in reverse really is about conclusion, right? And it's saying, here's the thing. If you're really worried that you won't be able to do it, you've already closed the door on it, right? Belief is probably 99% of how you can create situations. And if you don't think there's any hope, you're not going to look for any different doors to create that opportunity. So, like, I say this with a little bit of sarcasm: give up, go home, forget about it. In reality, what the conclusion of this says is the conclusion of it rests upon you and the footwork that you're willing to do. And if you're willing to show up and put in the work long after it's comfortable, and if you're willing to do that and potentially still not even get it, right? One of the people that I like who has a lot of great quotes is, you got to get comfortable, you got to fall in love with failing, because most people are afraid to fail. And if you do that, you will be like light years ahead of 90% of the population. So you get a tarot card and a motivational speech. Oop, sorry about that. Okay. So I will see if anybody else is popping on. Does not appear to be. We'll hang out for a couple more minutes. I don't even know how long I've been on for. Let's see. So I've been on for 27 minutes. I'll hang out for another 3 if nobody comes on, right? Anybody? 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 I'll do a general card while I'm waiting, I guess. Ash is here. I'm going to give Ash a card, even though Ash didn't ask. You got intention. And here's the cool thing about intention, right? Intention is kind of the direction that you're pointing your life. And so oftentimes our intentions are connected to maybe the things that aren't the most helpful or productive. But when you begin to put your intention towards creating the future that you want, the life that you want, the outcomes that you want, and being willing to commit to it, life will directly change, right? Intention is consciously aligning yourself with what matters. And honestly, you're asking about your job. Like, my question is, what is your intention with the job, right? If the job isn't lining up with you in a big way, shift. People get so committed to staying in positions that don't really matter, and they give up their whole life working for a career that doesn't give a crap about them. If it's not setting your soul on fire, shift. Shabinakar. Not finding love. I mean, most of the time people don't find love. Like, I'll draw a card for you, but most of the time people aren't finding love because they're not in love with their life. They're settling for less than they deserve. And they're like putting up with, they're staying stuck in old patterns, and they keep dating the same people in different bodies. Yeah, and honestly, the love card that comes up for you, it's the shadow card. So it's saying that you're not addressing certain patterns in your life that are holding you back from finding the partners that you want. I mean, the answer to like 90% of these questions, and I'm not saying this to be like dismissive of this craft or dismissive of anybody's questions, because I think it's completely reasonable to be stuck and ask questions, right? But 90% of this always will come down to our attitudes and beliefs and choices are limiting our potential to get the outcomes that we want. Like a lot of times we settle for less than we deserve, we aren't willing to do the work for what we actually want, and we're not willing to look at our part in making our lives miserable, because it's a lot easier to project our problems out onto everybody else, think that we have to settle for what we get, and like play victim to reality. And don't get me wrong, life on life's terms will always freaking happen. But there's a whole vast different life that you can have when you begin to take radical responsibility for what is in your realm of control. So 90% of the time, I don't know why I keep saying 90% of the time, a lot of the time we invest a lot of energy in being upset of things that are out of our control, but we don't invest any of that energy in taking control of what we physically can deal with. And when you begin to make that transition and shift, life will be different. It's uncomfortable though, right? Okay, so if nobody else has any more questions, I am going to gracefully bow out. Oh, you're welcome, Crystal. You too. All right, well, everybody, have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully I was able to help somebody, and I am on to the next thing.